here we are at the reviewing area, and here we have Cybershark, the Beast Wars reissue version of Cybershark on the reviewing area. And like I said, he turns into a hammer-headed shark. And I will have to say, the beast mode here doesn't have a lot of robot mode kibble all around. Well, except on the bottom, you could see these things here, which will form the robot mode legs when we get to the transformation. But it's not the worst that I've seen. But everything else is really well hidden. And as for the paint apps, on the top you do have some green spots here and some green on the tail here and some green on these fin on the sides and some green on the top fin. And you do have a lot of nice blue around on the top part and some cream on the bottom here. And you do have some like molded in what are supposed to be gills here, if I remember, of what sharks have. I think these are gills. and the white and blue does have this fading or airbrush effect here. You can see, like on the side here. And he does have some nice silver paint on the teeth from the top and on the bottom here. And some nice red eyes here. And overall, there's not a whole lot to say about the beast mode. Except for it is a pretty cool beast mode with little bits of robot mode kibble, which is only on the bottom here. But everything else is pretty cool. But I do have an issue with it. It's not for the modes. It's for what side he's on. Because for a shark transformer, you would think, well, you as the audience and I would think that a shark transformer would be sided with the Predacons. Because a shark would be appropriate for the Predacon side. Well, Cybershark here is not part of the Predacons. He's actually part of the Maximals, which means he is a good guy and not the bad guy like some people are expecting, including me, him to be. So I would have liked if he would have sided with the bad guys, which are the Predacons, because a shark would be appropriate for the Predacons. But nope, instead, he's part of the Maximals. Which, okay. And for articulation, I mean, it is a beast mode. It is in beast mode, which means you're not going to get a lot of posability in it. But for what he does have is the fins on the sides are on ball joints. And you can also use them to, like, stabilize him. Like, balance him correctly, however you want to do. Like, here, I got him balanced on 2 flip fins here. I should have said, like, stabled instead of balanced. But he is stabled and won't fall down, because the ball joints on these flipper fins are kind of strong enough to help support him. So, I guess it's now time to transform him. So, to transform him, we're going to take the tail and remove it from this peg and that hole, and we're going to set it off to the side. And yes, he is kind of a parts former. And we are going to take the front of the head and remove it. But to remove it, you're going to have to push on this, what will become the trigger in robot mode, which will fire this out. But on this figure, and it could be on my figure, because this is a reissue version. This is not the original Cybershark. But what you would do is you would push on this trigger and it would fire out the front of the head. which, as you can see, it doesn't fire. It doesn't fire out really good on this reissue here. I think the original fired out a lot better, but this reissue one doesn't really fire out that well. Because, yeah, doesn't really fire out that well. And now you're left with this. So to transform this into the robot mode, we're going to take the bottom here and separate it in half and fold them up like that and like that. And these fin things, you can position these however you want. You could either have them like this, or you can rotate them out if you want to. I'm gonna leave them like this. And flip him up. And take his elbows here and rotate them at the bicep here. Then take what will become the robot mode legs, untap them, and flip it up. And this taps into this peg and that hole there. Now you're going to take the legs and this front section and bring it all the way down. And this tab will now go into this hole here. And then you just straighten out the legs. And now you just flip up the feet. And you're done. So, the transformation is kind of like a flip former, like the basic class Beast Wars characters, where for the basic class Beast Wars Transformers, they do have a gear mechanism in them. But this one doesn't have any gear mechanisms in him, like the basic class Beast Wars figures do. But the transformation is fun. Not a whole lot to do for the transformation. But here is the robot mode for Cybershark. And he looks really cool. I really do dig his robot mode. All around. And getting a closer look at the head sculpt here. Very nice head sculpt here. which has a creep, like a shark look to it. Even though he is a good guy, but I would have liked for him to be on the bad guys, like part of the Predacons. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Had to sneeze there. But I would have liked if he was part of the Predacons side instead of the being part of the Maximals. But that is just me. But he still does have a nice head sculpt, and I just knocked him over. And you do have more of that green spots here, which are on the top of his head. And you do get some nice white paint on the teeth, with some black paint on the inside of the mouth, and some nice red eyes here. And you do have a lot more of that cream plastic coloring to it on the robot moon. And you do have some brown paint on the inside here. And some silver paint here on the chest. Now, on this side here, that little square thing should be where the maximal rub symbol, or energon chips, as some people call them. And for this reissue, as you can see, it's not on here. I don't know why they decided to remove it on this reissue here. 'Cause on the original Cybershark, you do have that maximal rub symbol, where the black on this square thing here is where you would rub it, and it would reveal if he's on the Predacons or the Maximals. But for here, they like decided to remove it. I don't know why, but okay. and giving y'all a 360 view. Here's the side view. And he does have kind of a backpack, but if the ball joints on your hips is not loose, because mine are really snug. But if they're loose on yours, then you may need to support and try to balance him as you can. And here's the back here. And the other side here. And all around, he is still pretty cool. All around. And before we get to the articulations, I do need to take a quick restroom break first. Okay, we're back. So now for articulation. He has a ball joint at the head. Ball joint at the shoulders. Bicep swivel. Elbow. Ball joint at the legs. Thigh swivel. Knee. And that's it. And if you want to, you can move the feet up and down if you want to. And now for, yeah. You just have to balance him as good as you can because of his backpack. So now for accessories. For the tail that we removed here, this peg here can be folded up here. And this white fin here, when you push it, it is a button. Forgot to mention that. And when you push it, this silver thing will pop out. Like that. And this forms a, like, switchblade. From what I've heard people call it. And of course, you can have him hold it like this if you want to. But I have seen some people hold it like this, which I like this a lot better. And as for the shark head here, you can, of course, have him hold it as an axe weapon, because these two things where the eyes are can kind of be like an axe weapon. But I have heard someone said that it's like a war hammer type of weapon, if you can call it that. But if you don't want him holding this in his hand, then you can still insert it into here, like you're going back into beast mode. So you can have that. And you can still fire it out either like this, or if you want to, you can take the face of the shark and flip it up on this joint here, and you can still fire it out, which again is not strong enough on this reissue here. But since this is flipped out, he does come with 2 missiles, which are located on the back here. And to pull them out, what I would do is take these white stem things, which are the missiles, and push them up, which will push up one of these, or both of them. And I also do want to show y'all something on the missiles. So he does come with 2 of these, and on the tips of the missiles there is a shark face that's molded onto the missiles. And you may notice here there is some black panel linings on these missiles, on the tip of the missiles where the shark faces are at. I actually did that. Yes, I did panel line the shark faces, so that way y'all can see that there is a shark face molded onto the tip of the missiles. But when you first get this reissue or the original Cybershark, the tips of the missiles where the shark faces are at are all gonna be white plastic, but with no panel linings like I did here. You can see. But what you can do with these is you can still insert them into this chest cannon here. And you can fire them out like that. Now these missiles fired out a lot better than the shark head here. I think it's because of the heaviness of this, which makes it not fire out as strong as I would like it, but these missiles here fire out a lot better. Yeah. But what you can also do with these missiles is, if you want to, you can have him hold them as clubs, if you want to. And that is it. That is it for Cybershark. So, I guess we'll be right back with our final thoughts here.